Chapter 12, Thomas Little. As soon as Thomas Little moved in the cell with Carl Bowles, the older man asked his new cellmate why he had been sent to the hothouse. Did Little have a secret hiding in his prison record, as had Jeffrey Hicks? Putting a first-time bank robber in a maximum security penitentiary just didn't make sense. Since 1985, the Bureau had used a point system to determine where inmates were sent. The more violence in the criminal's background, the more points he received. Bowles knew all the point system. He had received the highest total possible, but when he sat down with the pencil and legal pad and calculated the number Little should have received, Bowles always reached the same conclusion. Either Little was lying about his criminal record or someone in the Bureau had made a big mistake. Little clearly didn't belong at Leavenworth. Little insisted that he wasn't hiding anything. There was only one possible explanation, he said. While he was being held in a Florida County jail awaiting trial, jailers had searched his cell and found that 2 of his bars were cut. They accused me of trying to escape, he explained. Well, did they ever charge you with escape? Bowles asked. No, replied Little. They blamed me for it, but they couldn't prove it. Every inmate in Leavenworth was assigned a case manager who was responsible for keeping track of the multitudinous paperwork and an inmate's presence generated. If a convict visited the prison doctor, asked to move to another cell, met with an outside visitor, or even bought a magazine subscription, a note was made in his prison file. Besides compiling all the paperwork, case managers kept tabs on when prisoners were to appear before the parole board or for other periodic reviews. If Little had been accused of trying to escape in Florida, there would be a record of it in his file, and his case manager would know about it. And if a mistake had been made, then Little could appeal to him for help. It was against the rules for one convict to examine another's records, but Bowles told Little exactly which forms to ask for and sent him inside to the case manager's cubbyhole office in A cell house. A few minutes after Little returned with copies of his records, Bowles knew why the first-time felon had been sent to a maximum security penitentiary. Look here, Bowles said, pointing at the paper. They got you down as an extreme escape risk. Little's permanent police record listed him as being found guilty of attempted escape in Florida. As far as the Bureau was concerned, Little had attempted to break out of the county jail, and that offense gave him enough points on the classification scale to merit his being held at the hothouse. But I was never even charged with escape, Little protested. This says you were, said Bowles. This time, Bowles led the way into the case manager's office, where he explained his discovery. You can't classify a guy on what you think he might have done, Bowles complained. Only what you can prove he did. The case manager was not convinced. No staff members were going to take what Carl Bowles said as the truth. Besides, he pointed out, even if the Bureau had screwed up, it had the authority to house a convict anywhere it wished, regardless of the number of points that inmate had received. The points were merely a guideline, so the Bureau was under no legal obligation to move Little. What if we get some written proof that shows Little don't belong here, Bowles asked. The case manager reluctantly agreed to take a look at any evidence that Bowles and Little could find. Until then, Little was going to be treated as an escape risk. When they got back to their cell, Bowles told Little to write down the names of his attorney, the judge who sentenced him, the prosecuting attorney, the sheriff, even the guards who found the 2 cut bars. They would write a letter to each and ask for their help. Getting the evidence should be easy, Bowles said. The hard part would be getting someone at the hothouse, either the case manager or a prison counselor, to admit that the Bureau had made a mistake. If we can just get one staff member to take your side, we can get you out of here, Bowles promised. But getting one of these fat-ass bastards to stick out his neck is going to be fucking difficult. Later, Thomas Little recalled his feelings that morning. No one in the system gave a damn about me. They all knew I didn't belong in a maximum security prison. I stuck out, but none of the staff did anything to help, and they all knew what would happen to me. But here is this supposedly mad dog killer coming to my aid and figures out how the Bureau fucked up my case within a few days, and he is writing letters to help me. Carl Boyles was about the only person in Leavenworth who really gave a shit about me. The two men became inseparable. On most days, they dressed alike in a blue tops. On most days, they dressed alike in blue low-top sneakers, olive green army trousers, white t-shirts, and white terry cloth hats that looked like sailor caps with rims pulled down. Most guards and inmates assumed Boyles was teaching his wife how to dress. Most didn't bother to learn Little's name. He was considered an extension of Bowles. Little knew about the whispers. "I am not a homosexual," Little said one morning in a rare show of exasperation. "I am not Carl's kid, or punk, or wife, or anything else except for one thing. I am Carl's friend." Little credited Boyles with literally saving his life. In some ways, Carl and I are identical, and in some ways, we are so fucking far apart. But Carl and I have talked and talked and talked, probably for 1,000 hours. And after I tell him something, he will say to me, "You know, I had those feelings before." And I will say to him, "You had those feelings?" I mean, he has felt just like I have felt, and has taught me that it's okay to think like I do. It's okay to feel like I do. And no one else has ever told me that. Everyone else told me that my thoughts were wrong or bad or evil. I never had any real friends, but Carl Boyles listens and understands. I had been warned by guards and convicts not to ask Bowles whether he or Little were homosexual lovers. Carl is fucking crazy, man, and they may warn. You disrespect him like that, and he'll rip out your throat before you even know what's happening. Ever look in his eyes? Them is dead men's eyes, no emotion, nothing but blackness. But when I finally brought up the rumors, Bowles said, "I wondered if I'd ever get around to that." Sex, Bowles explained, is easy to get in prison. You don't have to prey on someone. This morning, an orderly who works in the lieutenant's office said to me, "Hey Carl, you sure are looking good. I like to suck your sometime." Now he is a homosexual, a known homosexual who enjoys it. Why would anyone have to be a sexual predator in here when it's that easy to get? See, sex is easy to find, but finding a friend is damn near impossible, because no one trusts anyone in there. Look, I've been in prison for 23 fucking straight years, Boyles continued. You don't think I've gotten lonely during that time? You don't think I don't need someone as a friend or someone to love me? Everyone is always worried about sex, okay, but there are different kinds of love. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you want to fuck them. God damn, I mean, that's a perverted way of looking at things. Sex isn't everything. There is companionship, understanding, consideration, sharing tough times together, having a guy who knows exactly what you were talking about. So when he says, "God damn, that's fucked up," you understand, because you know it's fucked up too. Is that homosexual to have a friend like that? Or is that just being a human being? Of course, my dick still gets hard, he said. Sex drive is natural. Being in prison is what isn't natural. This whole society in here is perverted. Do you think I don't know the difference between a man and a woman? Bullshit. Sex with a man is a poor substitute. A poor substitute at best. But look around. Do you see any women in there? So what do? What do? It drives you crazy. I've tried not to think about it, but there isn't a day in here when you don't look at television or look at a magazine and see something arousing. Some guys just try to kill it, pretend their sex drive is dead. Why? Because they are scared of becoming homosexuals. Oh my goddamn. Am I turning gay because I want someone to hold or touch, to love me? No one wants to be a homosexual in here because they are usually the weakest motherfuckers around and are considered as low as a snitch. But I've never met a motherfucker that is so fucking cold that he doesn't give a damn about another person. Never. I never met another person who doesn't need some physical contact with another human being. Can you imagine not being able to touch another human being for 23 fucking years? So what do you do? What do you do? Do you run behind everyone's back and have some homosexual suck you off while you look around the whole time and don't enjoy it because you are worried about someone seeing you? Do you jack yourself every night looking at fucking pictures? This is reality, man. I ain't had no pussy in 23 fucking years. What do? I'll tell you what you do. You recognize that sex is a strong desire, but there are different kinds of love. If you lower your standard, then you destroy yourself. It's like food. If you start eating the slop that they throw into the trash compactor and you say, it's okay, this is still food, then you have lowered your standard and it drops down. You can't lower your standard because once you do, all your standards drop. Every one of them. You got to cling to what is pure. You got to cling to what is good. And what is the purest thing? The purest relationship is one of love, not one based on sex. And that comes with friendship and caring about another human being and being there for that person just like he is there for you. The cops will tell you that I'm a predator, but you try to find one person in 23 fucking years who I preyed on. There are 15 or 20 cases, guys who I have helped through the years. Ask any one of them and they will tell you, oh yeah, Carl, well, yeah, he'll probably fuck me if I let him, but he never pressed me out of anything. He's my friend. He never cared about me and he helped me. That's what is pure. What do I want with Thomas Little? I want someone I can develop a friendship with. I want someone who will say, hey, old Carl Bowles society may think he's a piece of shit, but he's my friend. He is someone who I care about. He made a difference in my life. Carl Bowles sounded sincere, and he sounded convincing. At least Thomas Little thought so.